Welcome to Give a Heck. I am your host, Dwight Heck, and for much of my life, lived my life in quiet desperation, wondering how I was going to pay the bills, take vacations, save for retirement, and one day wondering if I would get off the hamster wheel of life and have purpose. A life that most of society lives, which takes us to work, then home, then repeat, and pays us hopefully enough just to survive. The harsh truth that most live with more months than money and have no idea how to live life on purpose, not by accident. This ensures the mass majority are living not just financially broke, however, emotionally and mentally as well due to financial pressures. In each episode, I will introduce you to thoughts, ideas, and guests that can help you to learn how you too can live life on purpose, not by accident. Good day and welcome to Give a Heck. On today's show, I welcome Sara Im. Sara is a survivor of a mass genocide in Cambodia, the event that claimed 2 million lives in the 70s. She is an inspirational speaker and an award-winning author of the book, How I Survived the Killing Fields, a story of hope, love, and determination. Sara graduated from Western Connecticut State University and as a member of the Women Speakers Association, Toastmasters International, and a founder and director of Christian Professionals Network of Tampa Bay. Sara speaks to inspire listeners to thrive from pain to purpose. She shares her impactful message at corporate events, conferences, churches, schools, podcasts, and more. I'd like to welcome you to the show, Sara. Thanks so much for agreeing to come on and share with us some of your life journey.
Thank you so much for having me on your show, Dwayne.
It's my pleasure. I look forward to getting to know you better. It always fascinates me, a person's origin and what they've gone through in life. After researching you, when I found you on the service in order to have you on the show and checking out things about you last night, you've led a very character building life. And even though I don't know you very well, I'm proud of you because you're the person I want to have on my show. You've never let the trials and tribulations of life slow you down. You've continually kept on climbing and gave a heck about yourself. And now you're out doing the same for others through your book, through your speaking, through your volunteer work. Just everything that you do is all about giving a heck and elevating other people's lives, which of course people don't realize when we do that, it elevates our own lives too. So I want to say I appreciate you just to get this started.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. So I mentioned it a second ago. One of the things I like focusing on, and I've listened to a little bit of things about you and read some stuff about you. Your origin story, that's one of the things I focus on with all my guests, because really at the end of the day, in order for people to like us, they need to hear vulnerability and us to share. And I know you're spectacular at that. So I'm so excited for you to share your origin story from your earliest recollections as a young girl all the way up to where you are today. Share whatever you would like. I'd love to hear about your origin story from childhood to adulthood.
Thank you, Dwight. I am honored to share my journey with you. So let me start from my childhood because that is a very memorable. I love my childhood. I grew up in a farm. My parents loved me so much because I was the first child. For the firstborn out there, you can relate, I'm sure. And I enjoy my life in the farm area. But my parents did not teach me to do farming. They have a better idea. They didn't want me to grow up as a farmer. They said it's hard work. I need to have higher education. So that's what they encouraged me to do. So with that in mind, I keep going. after I graduated from high school, I went on to college. And college is now close to home. It's in the capital city. It's called Phnom Penh. That's about 350 miles away. So I left my family behind, attending college, pursuing my higher education. But I didn't get to complete it because there was a very bad thing happened to Cambodia. During my time attending school, the communist Khmer Rouge took over our country. They came in the military style with military truck, tank, and weapons. And the soldier, they marched in the capital city. And I was so fearful. At the time that they came in, everything was shut down. It's not that they demand to shut down before they came in. It's because the whole country, are celebrating New Year. When we celebrate New Year, we shut down everything. We don't do any business for 3 days. So they came in at the end of the 3 days, and we thought that it's going to be peaceful because no more fighting between the previous soldier team and the new soldier. But we were wrong. Instead of find peace, instead of stop fighting, this new group, new communist group, they start to evacuate everybody from the city. So they went door to door and point the gun at us, demanding that we leave right away. They said, go, 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 hurry, hurry. So I was trembling, and I grabbed only a few clothes and just a little bit of food. And at that time I was hiding in the big school building with my uncle and his family. So we try to find the shelter that is strong, hopefully to protect us from the gunfire and all that. So, and we had to come out from the shelter and walk in the street. So we were pushed to keep going, leave the city. Nobody can stay in the city. So we end up, after a long walk, a few weeks of walking, sleeping on the ground and and eating very little food that we carry from home. And finally we get to a village. And this village was already prepared to receive a big crowd from the city. So they accept us to stay with them temporary until we build our own shelter. And we were pushed to work in the rice field. Cambodia is very rich in rice. So everywhere, when you go outside of the city, everywhere you'll see the rice field. So that's what they want us to do, to go to work in the rice field. And I was so nervous because I never know what to do. But something better coming my way. They was making an announcement that they want people to sign up to get moved to a different city, different province, not the city, the province. So they announced that one of the province is my hometown. So I hurry up, I sign up, and I want to go because I want to make sure that I get closer to my hometown and hopefully to find my family. You know, by this time, I have no news about my family because we have no way to connect with one another. The post office was closed. We cannot send a letter. There was no cell phone at that time. That was 1975. And the bus line was shut down, so I cannot ride the bus to go home. So we are completely in silence, in darkness from one another. We don't know about each other. So I love my family so much. I will do anything to get close to my family again. So I signed up, and then when the time for them to transport us, they took us and dropped us in the middle of nowhere. It's now Battambang where I was expect to go. And then there was another announcement. They were looking for single men and women who want to go get trained, and maybe hopefully someday when there's a village nearby need some help, we can go and help. So that's something inviting for me. I want to do that. My ultimate motive is maybe I get to travel. Maybe I get to go to find my family. That's all I thought about, is my family. But this time, when they took us and dropped us again in the middle of nowhere again. And this time we were stuck. I was stuck. My uncle did not come with me because this is a camp for single men and women. So we get a shelter to live in. That's all. And they have a big kitchen to prepare the food to feed all of us, 1,000 of us. And every day we need to go to work. And our work is very hard. Hard work in a rice field all day long, 15, 16 hours a day in the intense sun. We talk about the climate a little bit before we get started, but Cambodia was very hot. It's a tropical country, and when it's hot, it's hot. And we did not get a break from the sun. So to say the least, that our life was miserable in the rice field. We were exhausted and starved. We got very little food to eat. We didn't have enough time to sleep because they woke us up at 4 a.m. and we worked all day, plus some other thing that they want us to do. By the time we go to bed, it was about midnight, and then wake up again at 4 a.m. So we were so tired, and pretty soon many of us got sick. Me too. I got sick. I start out with high fever, and then malaria, and then typhoid. So it's just like, oh, I was so sick, but I still had to go to work every day until one day I can't keep going anymore. So when that happened, they sent me to a hospital. And when I arrived at the hospital, I realized this is not the hospital. There's no doctor, there's no medication, there's nothing to help us to get better. It's just a place for us to stay, and hopefully we get better, but there's nothing to help us to get better. So either you get better or you die. So I can see it's coming. If I don't do anything, I will die in this place. There's a lot of people die. I observe almost every day people die in this place. So let me call it an infirmary. So when I realized that I am in a very bad place, I'm more stuck than ever. So I realized I need to do something. But what can I do? I was searching and looking for some option. I I can go back to the working camp, but I can't work. They will send me back to the infirmary. I can't run away if I want to, but I will get shot because the God is watching everywhere. And plus, I'm so too sick to run away. And if I stay in that place, I will die because nothing to help me to get better. So this is the time that I search inside, searching and looking for solution. What can I do? All I want was to survive long enough that I might have a chance to go find my family. I love my family. They can use my help. My mom was so frail and she had been sick, and so I wish I was home. So now while I'm for searching, I remember when I was young, like around 7 years old or so, I listened to my mom's story. She read the book and I love to listen to her reading. In this book, it showed me so clearly that there is God. God sent the angel to rescue the children and the woman who were in the hand of the bad person. So I made up my mind since I was 7 years old. Make up my mind. I realized that there is God up there, and he knows what's going on. Now that I'm looking for an option, looking for my way out of my situation, I remember that God. I said, oh God. I wait until nighttime until nobody see me do anything, and I start to kneel and pray, and I ask God to help me to survive, because this is more than I can do. I don't know what else to do. Only God can help me. So I pray every night. I mention night because I had to be careful. This communist regime, they don't believe in any religion. If we practice religion, they will not like it. They will take me away, kill me. So I had to be quiet and wait until dark and pray. So after a few weeks of praying, and one morning when I woke up very early that morning, and I start to sneak out. I feel like I have a little bit extra energy that morning, so I sneak out, and the God did not see me. They didn't pay too much attention to the sick people like us. So I walked to the direction of the working camp. So when I got there, one team leader, she was so kind, and she saw me come in and she took me in her group, and she said, okay, you can stay with me. I'll try to find something for you to do. So in this whole camp, we have to do something. We cannot just stay still without doing anything. If we don't do, we don't eat. So that's the rule. So she realized that she doesn't have anything for me to do because I was too sick. And she went to talk to the people in the kitchen and ask if they can use my help. And they say, yes, they can use her. So that's my lucky day so far. And I got to work in the kitchen. You know why I say lucky? Because working in the kitchen, I get to work in the shade, and I have more access to food, and I work less hours. So I start to feel a little bit better. One day after the next, I start to feel better, and then eventually, after a few months, I feel much better. Well, much better, and I realized I will survive. Will survive. And thank God, I think he heard my prayer. At that time, I could not think too well, but when I look back, I realized that was God's answer my prayer. And so gradually, when I feel better, look better and stronger, they didn't let me stay in the kitchen anymore. They pulled me out and then throw me back into the rice field again. So another more than 3 years in the rice field. So finally, at the end of 4 years, for the total time, there was something going on in the far distance, and the camp leader, they realized that something's coming, so they start to move the camp. So they move us away from that. That camp was located very close to the main road that connect from one province to the other province. But now they move us, and they move us to the direction of the jungle. When I realized that we are moving to the jungle, I didn't like it. I decided I'm not going to keep going with them. I will have to find my way out. So at this time, I'm more serious than ever that I need to find my way out. So I'm thinking about escaping. So I asked 3 of my good friends, and I asked them to see if they want to come with me, because at that time my health was already declined to very, very, very bad already. So I cannot go anywhere by myself. I'm weak and I need some support. So my friends say, yes, they will, let's go, let's do it. So we plan an escape, and we escape out of the jungle. And escaping out of the jungle is not an easy task. It's a lot of danger, especially from the God. If the God ever spot us, there's no second chance. They will kill us on the spot. And also, we don't know where to go, because we had to do it at the middle of the night. The nighttime in the jungle is black, dark, cannot see anything. But we took the risk. We trust in God, and we did it. We walked all night long, and when the sun come up, we realized that we made it. We made it out of the jungle and out of the hand of the captor. So we continue to walk until we see some people, and we ask for direction. So some people can tell us where to go to my hometown. So we keep follow the direction, and we stop along the way to ask for help when we need some help. And so finally, after a few weeks of walking barefoot, I got to my hometown. And I did not find my family right away. I did some research, some tracking down, and then finally I found my family. It was the happiest day because I was dreaming of that moment for 4 years during my captivity. So we reunited, and I invite 3 of my friends that come along with me to stay with us in the family. So we stay, and my family helped me to recover my health. I was in bad shape. I was very skinny, just skin and bone, and I looked like a 95 years old woman. My mom did not recognize me until I speak up. My voice is still the same. A few years later, she told me that the first time when she saw me, she didn't recognize me. She recognized my forehead. Forehead. Anyway, after I feel better, recover almost 90%, there was another challenge. Our country was still in bad shape. There's still no government, no school, nothing going on. It's just pretty empty. And each one of us that survived these 4 years try to rebuild our life. And I found out that the whole country had been liberated 4 months before I came home. 4 months. That's why after I escaped out of the jungle, I walked and found some people. They did not care about why I ran away because they are all liberated. They are free. And I didn't know that. So if I did not escape, I would probably still in the jungle until now. So not anyway. So now that we live together, reunited, enjoying our family, my situation was not good. I was still a single person, and it's a lot of danger being single. So my mom tried to convince me to leave the country because she had one cousin that lived in United States, and he came here a long time ago, and she said, let's go uh, get out from Cambodia and trying to find my cousin. He might help you. So the hope was that I will be free and find my mom's cousin, and he will help me, and I eventually will be able to help out my family. So that's the plan. So escaping out of Cambodia is another dangerous journey, but I did it. I crossed the border, went to Thailand, and there was a refugee camp that United Nations has set up for to receive the refugee, and that's where I end up, and I found my mom's cousin. So the journey to get out of Cambodia, I did not do it alone by myself. I have my mom's cousin, another cousin, who also want to go to the border. So me and my mom's cousin, we travel together. So when I located my mom's cousin in the United States, we made connection, and he sponsored me to come. So the paperwork, the sponsorship, and everything, it took more than a year, but I was patiently waiting, and then finally, after more than a year of waiting, I arrived in United States, end up in Connecticut. I told you I've been in New England. I arrived in Connecticut just before winter. So I feel so grateful that I was able to land in the third country. I never imagined in my life that I would ever come to United States, but here I am in the United States. So enduring winter in Connecticut is nothing compared to compared to 4 years in the communist Khmer Rouge regime.
Yeah, I can
So
imagine. I can't even imagine what it was like. And compared to being in that hot sun 15, 16 hours a day, it was probably a big reprieve in your life. You're in a safer country, way safer country. You got more access to prosperity. So the
yeah,
winter was probably not even, it was probably shocking to you, but it was also a sense of relief.
yeah, yeah. When I arrived in Connecticut, um, my mom's cousin was not there. He need to move out of the state for job transfer. But I got help from the local church. That before he moved, he told the church that my niece is coming. Please help, and I need to move. So that's what happened. I got a lot of help from the ladies and gentlemen from the church, and I cannot forget that. It's a wonderful, wonderful, um, wonderful connection that it's hard to believe that people that never know me before, they could love me that much. They can help me so much, that more than I ever expect.
Well, the church is powerful. Like people don't realize, there's good and bad when it comes to churches, but you know, the right group of people within a church is they're community orientated. They're about family, they're about connection. And whether there's a blood connection or not, I found myself lots of good groups that I connect with or that I can rely on within my own church community, right from me being a little boy. Like obviously I've never been through what you've been through, but one of the things that I really appreciated hearing though is that you prayed. You prayed to God. Through my most difficult, tumultuous times in my life, God's been my anchor to sanity, to some form of emotional stability. And I believe that a lot of good things in my life have happened because of prayer and because of God and good people coming into my life because of it, just as you mentioned through your journey. So I appreciate you sharing. What happened at that point then with the church
I'm
helping you
sorry, I
out?
couldn't hear you.
What happened at that point when once the church had taken you in and was helping you?
Yeah, they was able to find me an apartment, a furnished apartment. I was again grateful everywhere I turn. Oh, I have furniture. Oh, really? I have clothes. Oh, yeah, secondhand clothes, but it's still usable. I need the clothes. I need the winter hat and gloves and boot. I don't know how to wear it, but somebody show me how to. I I didn't know how to dress up for the winter.
You adapted though.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the least I can, I'm not complaining, but it's just the fact that, I'm not used to this, but I can adopt. So starting the new life is very intense for me. Learning the language is the very, very important. So the ladies from the church direct me to the adults education where they teach English as a second language. And also I found out there is a GED class. I don't know if you are familiar in
Yeah.
Canada.
Yeah, I know what GED is.
Yeah, the high school diploma. Because I have no paperwork to show that I have been a college student. I have nothing to prove. So I have to prove it all over by my own ability. And I took the exam, and I'm so grateful again. I was able to think how to solve the math problem, how to do this and that to pass the GED exam. So yeah, I did pass, and as soon as I got a job to support myself, I registered in college. Because remember, my parents told me higher education is important. So I continue that theme. So I got myself registered for college, and I was able to graduate while
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I'm working full time to support myself and pay for the tuition. So
Wow, that's amazing. So at this point in time, you went back to college, and where did you go from there after? So you completed college. Where did your life journey go from there?
hmm, I could not hear you the
I
last.
said, so you finished college, right? Where did your life journey go from there?
After I graduated from college, I found a good job in a corporation, and I worked. I got a salary job. Oh, this feels so good. And then I got married. I got married, so I need to leave to quit my job. But at the same time, during the time that I was working and attending college, at the same time my family escaped from Cambodia. So at the same time, I was really busy doing the paperwork to bring my family over. But there was a big obstacle, because when my family arrived in Thailand, the camp already closed. It doesn't mean close and destroy everything. No, they stopped register new people. So that means my family came in to the camp illegally. They did not register them as a refugee. So that means problem for me. Problem for me to struggle through the immigration process. It took me a long time, 5 years to be exact. 5 years of hard work to pursue the family reunification, to bring my family over. But by the time they come, I already graduated from college. I already got my first job, and then I got married. So they witnessed my marriage. They were able to attend my wedding.
That's awesome. It's, good for you though. The struggle you've gone through and then the effort you put in. The moral, like the story throughout your whole story, is the same thing that I live my life, right? Faith, family, work. My faith keeps me going. My family is my purpose, my passion, and work is just there to make the other two work, right? To be able to survive and live a prosperous life.
Yes,
So your tenacity and ability to, just from even your story, walking for weeks on end to get to where you were going throughout your journey is amazing. You're, people listening, I don't care what you got going on in your life. If you don't have gratitude for what you have right at this moment, after listening to Sarah talk about her, trials and tribulations, and, yes, there's some successes along the way, but would you be able to survive? Would you be able to continue to push forward? I can't imagine the millions of people that went through the things they did in Cambodia that didn't survive. So you are a special, unique person. Your connection to your faith and your family is really why you survived, in my opinion. Would you agree?
You got cut off the last.
I said, really, at the end of the day, your connection to family and to your faith are the reason why you survived over millions of other people that are still possibly, or, maybe haven't even survived and they're still in Cambodia, because you had a sense of purpose for your faith and family.
Yes,
And in my opinion, that's the biggest reason that you are prosperous
I
and where you are
totally,
today.
yes, I agree because my family is my purpose.
I
Without having that purpose, it's a lot easy to give up. A lot easy to give in and say, oh, life is too hard. Just let me die. Let me end my misery. I could have done that. But our life is not just for our own self. Our life is for other people, especially your own family.
Exactly, 100%. It's yeah, bottom line, the circumstances of life where we focus on others and in a positive way helps us through the most difficult times, as it definitely did for yourself. Again, those listening or watching this um, conversation, I hope you appreciate what you have, no matter what you've got going on. Unless you have lived through the kind of trials and tribulations that Sarah has, really, there's nothing that we have in North America and Canada, the US, or, I have listeners in 30 some countries. Really, at the end of the day, if you have a meal every single day, you have a roof over your house, and you have nobody pointing a gun at you, and you have medical care, your life is amazing. So anything that's going on in your life, I'm not saying it's trivial. I'm saying it's surmountable. It's You have the ability to get past it. You have the ability to get over it. You just need to realize and anchor yourself to whatever that be. For Sarah, it's family. For myself, it's family, and it's God, obviously, for both of us. So just, look at your circumstances, look at your life, and have gratitude and be grateful. I know myself, Sarah, I don't know about you, but every single day I wake up, I have gratitude, and I'm grateful to God for allowing me to be alive, to giving me another day, to giving me another shot, to appreciating the fact that I have a roof over my head, that I have food in my fridge, that I have family and friends that care and love me. And really, life can be dialed down to that simplistic of a circumstance for happiness. People search for happiness in so many different ways and don't realize that they have it all around them because they've never been thought about or been trained or challenged to have gratitude and be grateful. So I really appreciate that. I want to go ask you some other things, and before we run out of time, thank you so much though for sharing your and being vulnerable. I really appreciate that. So, Sarah, your personal experience as a survivor of the killing fields has contributed to your ability to overcome adversities and claim victory in the midst of challenging circumstances. Your experiences led you to publish the book, How I Survived the Killing Fields, a story of hope, love, and determination, which led you to embark on a speaking career to carry this powerful message to a wide range of audiences. Sarah, you speak to inspire others to thrive from pain to having a purpose. How has the journey of writing your book and then sharing it on stage as a speaker helped you with your own healing of what has transpired in your life?
Oh, thank you for that question and bring up about my book. Yes, I am. At the beginning, I hesitant. I was hesitant about writing the book, but once I decided, yes, the book will help other people, and then people start to ask me to to share my story as a speaker, and I realized, as a speaker or as an author, I have to be here first. I have to be on a better stage before I can tell and instruct and helping other people. But I was not 100% healed when I began my journey as a writer and speaker. But throughout this time, it have been 7 years now since I published my book, I'm feeling much better. I heal myself every day. Every time I speak, feel like I'm massaging that pain to be healed more and more. Because if I cannot heal, if I still in pain, it will be no good for me to speak, to do anything. I will inject my pain to other people. So I realized that what I'm doing, what I'm sharing, it's healing for me, because I have to come from a place of heal and love and kindness. So by doing so, I'm become better and better, healthier and healthier.
Yeah, so a book is very, like I tell people, a book is very cathartic. Obviously, there's no comparison between your life and mine and the trials and tribulations. I know, though, with my own trauma, when I wrote my book a couple years ago, it helped tremendously. It helped me release all that inner angst, and it helped me let go, because I used to think to myself, are people going to really want to hear about this? Right? Are they really going to want to hear about my origin, what I've gone through? But it makes a huge difference. I have had people reach out to me that my story, it changed their outlook, changed their focus and direction, gave them a sense of a starting block for their lives, or maybe they were stuck and it moved them forward. And your story, it's going to teach and probably has taught so many people how to be grateful about what they have. And you sharing your hurt and your angst when you're up on stage and talking about your circumstances in your book, good for you. That is so hard for people to present themselves in a situation where we're being vulnerable on a stage. I know when I've spoken on a stage, it's tough, because you're sharing, you're being vulnerable, but you're also being, even though you wish you weren't, you're being judged, you're being criticized, and you develop, in some ways, I don't know if you can agree with this, you let go of so much energy and you give up so much energy, you leave yourself vulnerable to criticism, and you wonder, and you have to get to a point where you don't care what people think. You're only trying to talk to the audience of people that need your message, that God has put there, because not everybody we talk to or everybody that's going to read your book is going to connect with it. Wouldn't you agree?
Right.
There's only a specific type of people that are going to resonate with Sara. Like, I've only been talking to you for a very short period of time, and I feel connected with you, right? We have commonalities. Your vulnerability touches my heart. It makes me, as you've been talking, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I need to up my gratitude game. I need to up my gratefulness game, right? Because bottom line, the journey you've gone through is an example. It's a shining light for those that are suffering, no matter what it is, whether it's the same circumstance or not. So I really appreciate you sharing the fact that it's, like you said, you had to heal first as you went through that journey of writing the book. Because if you didn't come to a point of being healed and acceptance, in your own what you've seen in the mirror, you would have never become a great speaker. Would you agree? So basically what I'm saying is, in order for you to be the most effective person to, elicit change and for other people to connect with you, you had to, like you said, you had to heal. You had to have accepted everything, let go of all that tumultuous situation so that people could connect to you.
Yes.
So, you've
Yes.
it transpired your life.
Yeah.
The book was a healing journey for you, and then you standing on stage and sharing it with others, good for you. Most people would hide in the shadows, but your whole story, right from the moment of you sharing with me, you haven't hidden in the shadows. You've temporarily did whatever it took to get to the next phase of, safety or success for your life, but you've never hidden in the shadows. So good for you. I appreciate you sharing that. So one of the things also I wanted to talk about, you help attendees of events you speak at to refocus, build confidence, and develop self-leadership. Is this done? Do you do this in a group training situation, or is this one-on-one when you help people?
Well, in the past, I did it in a group training. Sometime it was the conference. I organize some conference, some seminar, and sometimes I speak at other people's conference and seminar or luncheon. So yeah, I inspired them to refocus.
Is there anything specific that you could share with that you do to help accomplish this? Or is it based on just sharing your story? Is there any specific things that you utilize to help people get off that situation and move forward?
Well, it depends. It depends on the circumstance, the area, the event. Some events, there will be time for me to teach how to do that, how to build confidence, how to um, how to refocus, and how to build the personal leadership. So I can do both. I tell my story, and also I tag the lesson after I tell my story.
So you teach a lot, you have lessons, you have a process you take people through. That's fantastic. Is there anything that you could share with, like, obviously it would take a long time, but is there one simple lesson that you could share that could help somebody that's listening that you would use in that environment?
Okay, yeah, something that I like to share, that I feel like this is the time that people need to do, is to build your resiliency. Build your resiliency, because when you are resilient, you become more confident. You have confidence. You have high self-esteem. You become more optimistic. And how do you build it? You build it by just, like, example, reach out, build your community, build your social connection. You you cannot have resilience by hiding yourself. Withdraw yourself from the world. You have to build your own social connection. Connect with people that support you, that make you feel like sunshine, people that love you, that want to help you. And if you have some challenge, you just talk, and that support can just sit down and listen to your story. That will help you also.
That's I appreciate you
And
sharing that. Keep on going.
my the way for me to share how to build confidence. Yes, confidence in the business world is by knowing what you're doing, the skill. They are talking about the skill. It makes you feel confident. But as the person, you you can build your confidence by having faith. When you have faith, you expect something better. You know that God is going to take care of you. You have faith and hope. When you are living with hope, you expect a better result. You know, hope stands for have only positive expectation.
That's amazing.
So to build your self-confidence, you need to heal mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And also you need to forgive. That's part of the help you build self-confidence.
When you say you must forgive, are you talking about
Yeah,
also
if
forgiving?
I did not forgive,
Yeah.
I would never be, I probably would not be where I am today.
So are you forgiving the people that caused all the strife in your life? Or are you also forgiving yourself? Because sometimes I find in order to build confidence, we have to forgive ourselves for what the things
Both,
that,
yeah,
yes.
both.
Yeah. So I just wanted our listeners to understand when you talk about forgiveness, it's forgiving ourselves and forgiving others. It's letting go of all that negativity, that energy in order for hope to really flourish in our lives.
Yes, yes. And another point of view is this. You have to forgive to free your heart, to open your heart for love again. When you forgive, your heart is free to give and receive love.
Yeah, that is something that a lot of people wouldn't think of, but it's true. When you forgive and you open your heart, then you're also have the ability to accept other positive things in your life, and that might be that could be love from others, that could be a relationship, and that relationship might not be anything but a friend, or it could be a significant other. It could be so many different things. But you're right, if our heart is closed off, we haven't forgiven, it's hard to have hope. It's hard to have faith in tomorrow and in a future. So that is, great advice for people. You must learn to forgive so that your heart can be open and be free again. Again, I'm not saying, or Sarah's not saying that it's easy. What we're saying is that this is some of the things you need to utilize in order to get there and find great people such as Sarah to lift you up, help you out. So Sarah, one of the things in 2020, you started collaborating with Lee Tran, also an immigrant from Southeast Asia, to create the From Surviving to Thriving Facebook group. 3 days a week, you both use Facebook Live to conduct interviews with others who have inspiring stories like yours. What has been one of the most inspiring stories you have heard? Could you share something with us?
There's so many wonderful, inspiring stories. Uh, my goodness. Oh, one stand out. This lady, she decided she will do the muscle, build the muscle. What is that? The muscle, the builder, the body builder.
Bodybuilder, yeah.
She used her body as the starting point to reinvent her whole body. So when she mastered the ability to transform her physical, her other part of her body, she can direct, she can transform her whole body and teach other people to do it. So I think that was so amazing because
Well, it was a starting point, a catalyst for her. And a lot of people don't realize, so if you have challenges, one of the biggest things you can do is be physical. Get out, be physical. It does change chemicals within our brain. It affects our thoughts, our feelings. It is so powerful. I know myself, I've gone through stages in my life where due to injury, I couldn't be physically active, But when I am physically active, I do feel better. So that lady taking that as a catalyst to effectively change her life changed her story of what she was presenting to people, and now she's out helping others. That's amazing because really our physical body is tied to our mind, like our mind, body, and soul are all tied together. And if we can get our body working and it's healthy, we're eating properly, we're doing some exercise, the other two, it's easier for them to fall into place.
Yeah, yeah. And on the reverse side, it worked the same. If if you are not well physically, if you ignore your body, you will become overweight, and it will affect the whole side of your system, your mind, your emotion, your thought, your feeling, and everything. So the physical have a lot of effect to our whole being that we didn't think it could happen, but it is.
Yeah, it's so important. And I'll use an example of I was talking to my parents who are in their 80s, and they're both fairly still at 80 years of age, fairly active. My mom, every single day, has a goal and she puts a little thing on her shoe to always make sure she does a certain amount of steps every day. And she tracks it. She's in her 80s. And, if she can't get outside, she goes down and she goes onto a treadmill just to walk because her goal is to always make sure she's physically active. And she
Mm,
told me, she says the days where she doesn't get her steps in, she feels kind of off.
mm,
And, it is so imperative. My dad too, very physically active in his 80s. And I look at other 80-year-old people that are all, they're crouched over, they're physically frail. And the thing that's missing is they forgot that life is in session, that they need to continue to move. Our bodies are designed to, you know, our arms, our legs, we need to keep things moving to keep everything lubricated and just to feel better about ourselves. So you're so right. A person that doesn't do that, it's the exact opposite. So I appreciate you
yeah.
sharing that. Sarah, we're almost done here, but I have one last question for you. If you had to give our listeners one last closing message, what would you tell them in regards to giving a heck and never giving up?
Hmm. I am I'm an optimist by nature, and I believe being an optimistic is a very good advantage. Being an optimist, that means you expect something to be better, although you might struggle, go through hard time. You expect something to be better because things might hit you right now, but everything changed. Expect that change to be better.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we have so much pessimism in our society today. It doesn't matter where you are on the globe. It doesn't matter where you are listening to this podcast or watching it. Bottom line, what Sarah just said is so powerful. If you can work on being optimistic and, realizing that things can be better or they already are better in your life by having gratitude and gratefulness, you can realize and trigger optimism, I've found, just by appreciating what you have already.
Mhm.
It can be a driving force to moving yourself forward. What a great message. I really appreciate that. So, our time is almost up, and I want to respect our listeners and your time. However, before we end, can you please tell the listeners what's the best way they can reach you?
Sure. The best way you can reach me um, is on my website. My website is saraim.com. It's spelled SARAIM.com.
Fantastic. I'll
You
make
can
sure.
also find me on LinkedIn.
Okay.
You
They can
just
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 search your name, or do you want to give
yeah,
what your handle is?
Sara M speaker author. So, but if you search for Sara M, that speaker, that author, you will find me.
Okay. I'll make sure that goes in the show notes. People that are new to the show, you can find that at giveaheck.com. You go to my website, go into the portal button for podcasts, and you'll see Sara, and you'll be able to look at the abbreviated show notes. And I'll make sure in those show notes that we have Sara's website listed and her LinkedIn profile so that you can easily access her. Thanks so much, Sara, for being on and being vulnerable with the listeners and me. Your journey is so inspiring, and I can't imagine how many thousands of people you've already touched and how many more thousands you'll continue to touch. And I'm very appreciative to be a person that can help share that message so that we can touch more people's lives and let them know that it's never
I
too late for them
appreciate
to
you,
give a heck.
man.
Yeah.
Yes,
You're
thank you for having me. Appreciate you and appreciate your podcast. And this is wonderful that you are doing this to inspire people.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. God spoke to me about this podcast. It's nothing about my business. It's nothing about what I do. It's just about bringing people such as yourself that have inspiring stories to teach the world that it's never too late to give a heck about things, right? That there is people out there that have stories and challenges and circumstances and highs and lows, and they can make a difference in their lives. And and that's why I do this. It's a passion of mine. So thanks so much for being on Give a Heck, Sara. I appreciate your time and sharing some of your experiences so that others too can learn it is never too late to give a heck. Thank you for taking time out of your day and listening to Give a Heck. If you find value, I'd appreciate you sharing with your friends and family so they too can learn how to live life on purpose, not by accident. So you do not miss the next episode, please subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and please also post a review. I look forward to reading your comments. This has been Dwight Heck. If you want to check out other podcast episodes or today's show notes, please check out my website, giveaheck.com. And until next time, together let us all strive to give a heck.